My name is Jimmy Kinder, and I'm a fourth-generation farmer from Cotton County. Well, actually, you were on the property where I grew up. This is actually where it kind of all started with Dad years ago. God literally smiled upon me and put me in a family that said, you know, this guy's going to be a farmer, and he wants to be a farmer. Since I can remember, I've had a passion to do this. I couldn't help but want to get out there and get on the tractor. And Dad always told me, he says, as soon as you can push the clutch in, we'll let you go. My grandfather was one of the first farmers in the county to not own a horse because he went mechanized and went to tractors. They called him Tractor Jim, and they worried that he would not be sustainable. He'd go broke. That was the very same thing we heard when we started no-tilling, that we'd either give up or we'd go broke trying. So that just makes you a little more determined to make it work. I started in 1980, and anyone who's been around the 80s kind of understands that we had recession in farming, and a lot of our assets, like in land, were devalued by 50%. That means that you owed sometimes the bank more money than you were worth. That's the economic hard times, and then there's always Mother Nature's throwing things at you, and droughts and freezes and flooding, and maybe that's all in the same year. I like to tell people that I don't like to buy depreciable assets, and they look at me kind of funny, and that means that I'm driving a 10-year-old pickup. In fact, we've got 40-year-old tractors that we're still making run today. One of the things that happened in the 80s, we learned to be really good mechanics and to fix things as best we can. Our primary crops are wheat and cattle, and we grow a little canola, sometimes sesame, grain sorghum. So we have a diversified operation. And someone asked me, so which one do you like the most? And I said, whichever one's making me the most money, that's the one I like. As a cattleman, probably really understood the linkage between cattle and the soil better than most, because I rely on annual to produce forage. So it didn't take long for you to understand that if you want to run 100 head of cattle, you have to produce forage for 100 head of cattle. If you want to run 110 head of cattle, you got to learn how to do 110. So all of a sudden it gets tied back from the cattle back to what's growing on top of the soil, and then now we're starting to study what's below the soil and the roots. I had been in the NRF for 8 years and really enjoyed my time there, getting to peek underneath the hood, so to speak, of the Novo Research Institute, and to see how the decisions were made and help give some direction to research going forward. But as a producer, I really love the consultants and the multidisciplinary way that they come out at the farm. You know, I'm just grateful for that opportunity. The reason why I like to help people and people in my industry is that I think that we've got a really great opportunity with new techniques to do a better job of growing food than we do now. We're able to start giving farmers some technologies and some ways of farming that will actually build their soil, so that at the end of 10 years they've got a better yield potential than they had when they started. And also, being in the short run, you got to make money in the first 10 years. You can do that too. And I believe with all my heart, and I know this already, that whoever gets my farm after me will get a better farm than I received. That is really cool to be able to say that. God allows me to have those assets and take care of those assets, and then also help feed His people. I think that's pretty cool to be able to say, yeah, I made that happen. So when the bread shows up, when that steak shows up, and people cut into that steak and they have that experience and they have that smile, that's all I need.